To me, that's like the next natural question. You want to do a thing? So how would I do that thing? It's not like how much money do I need to do this thing? No, let's be in the play space. Let's be in like, well, how does that work?
If your younger self saw you doing what you're doing right now, what do you think she'd say?
She would be like, yeah, like that.
Today's conversation is all about giving yourself permission to dream bigger, to pivot, to try something wildly new, to step into roles you never imagined for yourself until now. I've been thinking a lot lately about what it really means to greenlight yourself, not waiting for somebody else to choose you, to approve you, to be the gatekeeper, to anoint you as ready, but deciding you are allowed to take the next leap, even if you're figuring it out as you go. And the guest with me today is someone who embodies that spirit beautifully. Welcome to Late Bloomer Living. I'm Yvonne Marchese, your resident age agitator and play instigator. Around here, we believe midlife is the perfect time to play, to reinvent, and bloom like you mean it. Let's go. Beth Barany is an award-winning novelist, a creativity coach for writers, and now, because she decided she could be, she's a filmmaker. When she felt the pull to bring one of her stories to the screen, she didn't wait for Hollywood to come tap her on the shoulder. She greenlit herself. That's Hollywood. That's a Hollywood phrase. She wrote the script. She found collaborators, pulled together a crew, and stepped into an entirely new creative identity. Blows my mind. In our conversation today, what I'm hoping to do is we're going to explore what it looks like to trust your intuition, follow your curiosity, and give yourself the green light, even when the path is unfamiliar. We're going to talk about navigating creative pivots, learning new skills later in life, the emotional roller coaster of making something from scratch, and what it means to claim your own authority as an artist. And let's just say it, as a human being. This is not just about filmmaking. This is about living your life and giving yourself permission to step into new territory with gusto. Beth is such a generous, thoughtful presence, and I can't wait for you to hear her story. So without further ado, hey Beth, thanks so much for being with me today.
Hi, Vaughn. Oh my God, I have tears in my eyes. That's so beautiful. I'm like, I want that. Oh yeah, I'm looking.
Oh, she's talking about me.
Yeah, that's me.
Oh my
Well,
goodness. I mean, you've been a creative person. I'm gonna guess your whole life. You just got creativity in your bones. And I have always looked to what you are doing with amazement at you've got like a bootstrap like permanently attached to your foot.
yeah, true.
It's really inspiring. So let's talk about this whole like becoming a filmmaker thing.
Sure.
What was the first tug that made you
Yeah,
think, I think I
yeah.
want to do
Well,
this?
the first tug really showed up, gosh, as of this recording, like 18 years ago. This was not an overnight project. This, I was in early days as a writing teacher and a coach, and I was at a business conference, and the teacher asked us to dream big, and how important it is to dream big and declare it. And so we're doing the exercise, and it was just like bubbling out of me. I like raised my hand, and I'm like, I want to turn my novel into a film, Henrietta the Dragon Slayer. And they're like, yay, clapping for me. And I felt like the surge of energy, and I could just see it and see the marquee and everything. And so strongly, just so powerfully. And I was very excited. I called my husband. I was down in LA. I live up in the San Francisco Bay Area. And I'm like, oh, I'm so excited. I want to do this. And he's like, yay, because he's a creative too. And he's like, of course. Oh, this is so awesome. Catching my excitement. He even made a birthday card for me that has a marquee and it says Henrietta the Dragon Slayer on it. Yeah. It was so wonderful. He like caught the vision and it's like, boom, we all saw it. And I don't even think, yeah, the novel wasn't even published yet. I published that novel finally like 5 years later. And it was a story, Henrietta the Dragon Slayer is a story that came to me that I wrote when I was 19. I wrote like a 3-page story about a girl adventurer because I love those stories. I love fairy tales and folklore, but I really wanted a girl to be taking those adventures because when I was a kid in the 70s, girls were not in those stories as the adventurer,
No.
and so
We were the damsels in distress, if anything, right? Or the side.
that's
Yeah.
right. Yeah,
Yeah.
I never liked it then. I still don't like it now. Um, so long story short, you know, it's been a long time coming. And that's also kind of part of my creative process is I come up with the idea, see the vision, it's far away. I have no idea I'm going to get there, but I'm going to get there. And that's how it started.
I just want everybody to hear that because I think a lot of us, me included, I think a lot of us get ideas and we don't follow up. Or, like, I have friends who are working on creative projects. It's taking them years. I think, what was it? Lin-Manuel Miranda, the
Hamilton?
thank you. Hamilton, wasn't that like 10 years in the making? And I think people get they you only see like the end result of these big successful things. And then I think the tendency for people is to think, "Oh, well, it's taking me too long. What's wrong with me?"
Very much, very much. I mean, okay, full disclosure, I was born into a creative family. A family that loves music and dance and art and food and fascinated with cultures around the world. That was my day one. In fact, before I was born, I think my father was reading Mary Poppins to my mother. Like that was a thing, like reading stories. It's huge in my family. And on my mother's side of the family, there are artists, working artists. My great grandmother was a writer, poets. My grandmother, who recently passed away, she was a potter. She had a long life. She died at 96. She was still making pottery when I saw her last spring. On my dad's side of the family, we've got poets and writers and speakers and people who tell stories just to their friends and family, make puzzles. And so I grew up in this atmosphere of the love of creating. So that part, like being creative and seeing creative things happening was around me. What wasn't really directly in my face was like going from beginning to end on a long form project. I knew about it. I knew my great grandmother was a writer. And I also saw my grandmother with the pottery and how pottery has a process. But I
Mm.
also saw my parents plan like delicious home cooked meals. And so in cooking, for example, there's a process, right? You start here, you start with the idea, the dream, the taste, you put together what you've got. Right? So I think I'm also by nature a process person. And
That totally makes sense that because you're a creativity coach and so you're helping other writers with maybe that missing, maybe they're creative, but maybe they're missing the piece of like how to get through a project from point A to Z, right?
exactly, exactly.
So that is something that kind of comes naturally to you. I have a question for you. I have to ask. When you got this spark of an idea, were you thinking this would be a Hollywood project, or did you see it from the beginning as being a you project?
I really didn't know. I think I had done one nonfiction book. I think I had done one ebook as well. So I already was doing it myself on that side of things.
Hmm.
And I really didn't know. I really didn't know. I mean, there were some people there in the room who are like, I work in film. So I started talking to them and found out all the hoops. And I'd never really been attracted to hoop jumping. Something that has a lot of gatekeepers has never been attractive to me. I think I'm always been inclined, like, how do I put it into action? And the more I heard about how Hollywood works and everything, the more I was like, yeah, that doesn't sound fun. So I kind of was over here in my own little tiny business, learning self-publishing, not attracted to giving over my power and my ideas to Hollywood. Not interested. Just never really attracted me. And so, yeah, that's the short answer.
So, in the 18 years since you had the idea, I'm just picturing what could happen for myself here is that life kind of happens and you're like, "Oh, well, I'm going to become a creativity coach." You've been very busy these 18 years with life and building a business, right? You knew you were comfortable with process, and then it was like, but becoming a business person, I think must have been a learning curve, and that must have been a green lighting yourself for that.
Oh,
I'm
totally.
imagining,
Every step of the way. I mean, I
right?
jumped into the deep end and I don't have an entrepreneurial background, and neither did my family. I didn't know how to run a business. So I've been learning. I've been learning. Every year I'm learning more and more. And I had to talk about green light yourself. I had all these different milestones or really crossroads where I'm like, am I in business or am I giving this up? Am I in business or giving it? This is really hard. Because being in business for yourself really makes it's an opportunity to grow, right? There's no way
Oh,
around
so it's so opportunity after opportunity after opportunity to grow, right?
constantly. And so that's, not only did I learn how to greenlight myself as a writer, just to like even sit down and learn how to be a novelist, which is not easy. And no one taught me in school. I had to learn by doing and critique groups and all of that. And, uh, greenlighting myself in business, yeah, it was a huge learning curve. And then when it came to filmmaking, I kind of bumbled around for maybe 2 or 3 years, and then I actually shelved the project. I like put it on the far back burner. I didn't say no to it, but I kind of have known, maybe, I don't know, when did I learn this? Maybe by novel 3 or 4. I'm like, story ideas kind of live in the background, or maybe they live like little dormant seeds, and when it's their time, like there's something that happens magical that story idea comes to me and says, me, write me. And I'm like, are you sure? Are you sure? But I have all these other ideas. And they're like, no, I'm not going to leave you alone. Write my story now. I've always wanted the impossible, and I always believed it could happen. And I think that's a character trait, honestly. And thankfully, I didn't have too many naysayers growing up. Like, oh, there's Beth, her head in the clouds, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's like, you can't do that. I mean, there was kind of like, you
What a
can't.
gift that is to not
Yeah.
have those people be so prominent in your life. I think as kids, we all think, oh, if I put a cape on, I can fly, right? Until we're told that we can't.
Right. There was a little bit like, oh, you can't make money as a writer. I mean, I guess
Hmm.
my family saw my great grandmother. She had to take odd jobs to make ends meet. She got blacklisted in the 50s, like all these crazy things. And, but it's also kind of a cultural thing to say to someone who says they want to be a writer, oh, you can't make money doing that. And I'm here to tell you, you can. You can be a writing teacher. You can be a coach. You can be an editor. There's so many things you can make money at being a writer, even today, even with AI, because AI can't really write. Not, I mean, it writes, but it doesn't have heart. It's not
Yeah.
human. It's just a copy machine, just copying what other people said, mix it up and spit it out very, very smartly. But it's still, when it comes to creative work and when it comes to work with soul, it's not there, and it won't get there for a very long time, in my
Yeah.
opinion.
When you published Henrietta as a book, what
Yeah.
how long ago was that?
The novel came out in January, the end of January 2011.
Okay. All right. Cool. And so that lives in the world.
Yep.
And
And
then you've had all these other projects.
so this is a trilogy. It's a little over 1,000 pages if you count all 3 books. And
Wow.
the movie, well, right now it's a proof of concept, 5 minute, little over 5 minutes, and it's meant to be a TV show. My image, my goal changed at some point, and I don't know exactly why, other than I love television and I
Hmm.
love the episodic nature of television and how you can tell so many different kinds of stories with the recurring characters. I just love that. And I love a little campy adventure going on, and that's what I want to do. Lots of humor, lots of heart, and then this band of friends, Henrietta and her friends. So I wrote a 30-minute pilot about, gosh, 5 or 6 years ago, and I got some lukewarm feedback and I got a lot of questions. And so I realized, oh, I had to write what's called a cold open. I had to show Henrietta in action.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I need to back up because I have questions. I have questions. So you started off wanting it to be a movie. It's a shorter film now, but I think we skipped over something that I feel is important, and that is how did you figure out to even like do film? Like,
Yeah.
so
So
because you're producing this, right?
yes, I'm the writer, director, producer. So long story short, I put the film on hold. I put the dream on, not really on hold, but on the back burner with
Uh-huh.
the realization that I really needed to get good at what was right in front of me. Like, hey, Beth, you're a writer. Finish your novels, write more novels. You're a writing teacher. Go do your writing teaching and your coaching and your editing. Like, trying to do film was like me being in kindergarten, trying to go to graduate school. Like, I'm like, wait, you've skipped a whole bunch of steps. So I'm like, work with what you got. That's a big theme for me is like work with what you have, with what's right in front of
Hmm.
you. So what happened was very serendipitous. And that is, I heard here in Oakland, someone was running a film camp for teen girls. And I heard about it. They were running a fundraiser, and I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. I want to be involved. I actually went to the place where they were running the fundraiser and donated, 25 bucks or whatever. And then they were doing a raffle and I won the thing. It was like some CDs or something. And I went because I wanted to meet the woman in charge. I'm like, what's going on? This is amazing. I want to meet them because I knew from experience that if I get in the room with the people that I want to play with, that I can make a case for myself, that I can say, oh, how can I be involved? And let's meet. And like, where's the synergy? Like, I just knew that. And this was Esther Pearl, and she had Camp Real Stories, and it was a summer camp. It also went into schools during the year, but it would have like 2, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, I forget how it was, in a local high school during the summer where there's no kids, and they would run a film camp. And Esther Pearl used to work at Pixar, which is just down the road in Emeryville. And she used to be the only woman in the room. And she has a daughter, and she's like, I want to change this. I want to change it so that women learn filmmaking. And
Mm.
so they can be not just in front of the camera, but behind the camera. So these film camps were amazing. They're on hiatus right now. That just happened this year, but even though Esther Pearl moved on, and anyway, the camps have been running for like over 10 years, and I would volunteer every summer and not full time because I run a business part time, but it would be these teenagers from ages like, I think 12 to 17. They would make a movie in 5 days, or in the advanced camp, they would make a movie in 2 weeks. And Esther brought in people she knew, and people would like come in on Zoom, and screenplay writers, cinematographers, special effects, editors, documentary filmmakers. So the teams you would be in a team and you would either make a narrative short, like 5 minutes, or a documentary.
That is so incredible. What a cool concept. I just all the feels.
All the feels. And adults like me would come in and just be sort of put in as what were called producers. And what was my expertise? Storytelling. So I could be there where they would work out the story and I would listen and I would ask questions. Or I would be part of the adult producing team, which would be basically like, okay, you have 3 hours to storyboard, or you have 3 hours to do the filming, or whatever. And I would just hang out with these teenagers and they would do it. And then I would just remind them, hey, we have, okay, lunches in 30 minutes. Did you want to take that? Who's going to be the filmmaker in this shot? And they would rotate all the roles. Some people would be like the actors, and some people would be the writers and the costumers. But there's also a team, they would rotate audio, video, and any kind of props or lighting or whatever.
What an immersive way to learn filmmaking. All the elements have to happen,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
That is so stinking cool. How long was it? And then you thought, you know what? I've learned enough. I feel like I could take the next step with Henrietta. When was that?
Well, even the first year I did it, which was, I think, the second year of operation of the camp, I had an idea for a TV show. It was like a ripoff of Leverage. And I
Hmm.
started writing the story Bible. And then I told some of the other, so they had people like 18, 19, 20 who were also producers, who had
Hmm.
maybe started film school or were in the local colleges and doing film. And I shared that idea with them and they just loved it. And that kind of gave me like, oh, okay, I'm not super in love with this because it doesn't have any magic in it. But it was, I started playing around. And then I know a screenplay consultant for years now. He's written books on how to write TV and how to write dramas and movies. And I hired him. So that might have been in 2017. So maybe I'd been playing around in the film camp, in various capacities for about 5 years. I don't know, maybe just 3 years. So it didn't take me that long, but I kind of knew if I could get some immersion and I could get around the things and start learning, like, where do you put the camera and where do you put the angle? Just the learning, starting to learn the tiniest beginnings of the language of film, that I could start to see how it could happen. Like, oh, if I understand the basics enough to tell what a camera person needs to do and where to stand, I'm like, okay, I'm getting there. Started learning the vocabulary. And then I hired my friend to coach me for a summer, and I used my Henrietta script as our basis, and he went through his process and showed it then to my critique partners. It just kind of went from there. And so there would be periods of working on it, and then dormancy, periods of working on dormancy. And I actually wrote the script in 10-minute chunks as kind of like a palate cleanser while I was probably editing a novel, because editing is very different than writing a first draft. So I'm like, what's a short project I can work on? And I just literally did it 10 minutes at a time. I mean, I knew how to plan a story by then, so I could plan out the basics and then play around. I'm like, oh, I don't know what I'm doing, but let me do something. And the first draft
Wow.
wasn't very good. It's since gone through about 10 more revisions. I did another revision intensive for myself just this past April, and I got like 10 people to look at it and give me feedback. Um,
So there's a couple things that are popping up for me here for anybody listening and watching. This didn't happen overnight, number one. Number two, you did it in bits and pieces, 10 minutes at a time, you said. 10 minutes at a time.
yes, yes,
Um, and there were multiple iterations. So you did something, you got feedback, it needed to be improved, switched, changed. This is this is what the creative process is. And I'm just going to relate this to life right now. Whatever you're working on, it doesn't have to be creating a film, but there's going to be things that you're going to want to do, right? And you're going to need to get feedback. And maybe you're going to come up against a wall. And maybe it's like, take a break, come back, do 10 minutes on it. It's the not giving up that I'm hearing
yeah,
that is inspiring to me personally. And, it's doable when you break things down into chunks, is what I'm hearing. Did you ever have like a moment of self-doubt, like a who am I to do this kind of feeling?
I've experienced that as I start thinking of the bigger scope. At first I'm like, let me just write a script.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't even thinking about making it until I was chatting with a filmmaker, someone I met at a cafe and would see regularly. And he's like, you should make it. And I'm like, what? Me? He's like, yes, there's nothing like it. And so he put that idea in my head. I'm like, huh. And then the film camp, and I saw the teens make films. I'm like, maybe there's something to that. And that's actually what sparked the current project. So that was 2 years ago. But the year before that, I was also talking to someone at the film camp. Now I go in and I just give a talk and I listen to their projects, and I'm kind of acting like a Beth's coming, so get your pitch ready, like a writing coach, and give them feedback. And that's fun. And so I was talking to one of the teachers and I asked them about where would one film this kind of scene? I had a cave scene. I'm like, where in the Bay Area could we film a cave scene? And so we had that conversation. And then the following year, which was in 2023, I again in to teach at the film camp, and I took aside one of the organizers during lunch and I said, so can I take you out to coffee and pick your brain about what it would take to make this film? I have a 30-minute TV show, and I'm thinking of filming the teaser, which is like 3, 4 pages. And she said to me, let's do it. I'm like, what? She's like, let's make it. So I
Let's not talk about it. Let's make it.
yeah, and I'm like, all right, all right. And I went and talked to the two other organizers in the room, and I enrolled them both. Well, first I found out what they love to do, and I'm like, huh, Oh, that's interesting. Oh, you like costumes? Well, maybe you can help with costumes. Oh, you like with production? Wow, you could do production. That was the first one I spoke to. And then the other one I spoke to, she's like, well, I like directing. I'm like, wow, that's awesome. Let me talk. So I had coffee with all of them and enrolled them all in the project, and they all helped in the project. And one
That
of
is
them,
amazing.
yeah, the one
Wow.
who likes to direct, she's my co-producer. She co-directed and co-produced it and also had an input in the writing. So it was just serendipitous. But yeah, I mean, I don't give up and I ask questions and I'm curious. And I
Oh
do
my gosh. I was literally just going to ask you, like, how does intuition or curiosity guide you through that decision? And I'll tell you why I was going to ask you that because I'm kind of obsessed with curiosity these days. I think that it is a superpower that can connect you to your here and now, and it can connect you to your next steps that are right for you. So you just led right into that. Thank you. So the question is, how did your curiosity and your intuition play into this?
entirely 100, as you can see, I went to the person and I said, hey, how could I make this? Not how will I, and how I wasn't trying to enroll her because I had no idea what her dreams were. It's very important to me that I work with people whose dreams align with my dreams, who are very excited about what I'm excited about. And there's, let's play together kind of thing. And so my curiosity was, how would I do this? I don't know. To me, that's like the next natural question. You want to do a thing? So how would I do that thing?
Mm.
To me, it's very natural. It's not like, how much money do I need to do this thing? No, let's be in the play space. Let's be in like, well, how does that work? How does that car work? Huh? Tell me how that car works. I'm not asking, let me make the car. I just want to understand how it works. So there's a part of me I know that is all about fundamentals. And I've learned how to articulate that over the years, but it's like what I care about is how things work and how to put things together. That doesn't mean I'm going to be the one, but I like to know those things. And then the next thing is, well, do I want to be the one? Or would I have someone else be the one? It could have easily turned out that I'm someone I decided to be the behind the scenes force. I mean, I am the behind the scenes force, but what if, I don't know, I ran into someone who's like, "Oh, I can do that. I could do it all." And what if you did this? I don't know. I don't know how it would play out.
So
I am
you've been staying open is what I'm hearing to like the possibilities. I am going to go back to a question I asked earlier, and I think we started to get the answer and then kind of veered. So that question is did you have a moment of self-doubt or that feeling of who am I to do this? I don't want to lose the thread on that because that's a big deal for me. The who am I to do that? That's
not
something that
much.
stops me.
Yeah, there's a version of that I have, and it relates to your podcast, which is, am I too old to do this? I really want to
Mm,
do this, but am I too old? Has the world passed me by? And am I going to be kind of laughed out of the room? So it's a
mm,
version, I think, you know,
yeah.
and so I've voiced that to people my age and around filmmaking. And they're like, this woman said at this meeting recently, she's like, she raised her hand. She's like, well, I'm 70 and I'm making my first documentary. So, and I'm like, thank you. Like I've been surrounding myself with women my age, older, in their 40s and 50s and beyond, who are like, I'm making this thing. And I'm like, yes. So I've also gone out of my way to find other people like me who are like, I'm making my first movie and I'm 45 or 55 or 65, whatever.
Can I just tell you the power of that? It's one of the best. There's two side effects that have come of me doing this podcast. A wonderful side effect of doing this podcast is the people I've met, and I've kept a few as time has gone by. You're one of those, and then the other side effect is surrounding myself with people who are examples of how I want to be and who I want to be and how I want to move through the world.
Yeah.
And that's huge, hugely powerful what you just said.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's I'm in menopause. It's such a weird phase. I mean, I think it's starting to calm down maybe, but there's been a lot of anger and a lot of angst and a lot of, obviously, I want to write about women warriors. Henrietta is one. I think like a lot of women, especially my generation or our generation, there's been a lot of repressed anger. Like we had to just deal with the system we're in and go forward in life and do what we could do. And now we're kind of like, oh my God, really? And by the way, humans created these things. They're not, this isn't just the way things are. The film industry isn't just the way things are. These are decisions made by people that led to this situation that less than 50% of the film force are women. That was people making decisions. That's it. Same
Yeah.
with every other system in our society. Every single one. This is not just happening. And it's like I kind of had to develop a lot of experience and know-how and et cetera, and writing lots of books and meeting lots of people to start to articulate these things. So this is actually when I could do it. I couldn't have done it earlier. I wasn't interested in trying to do what I'm doing now 20 years ago. I just wasn't. So this is what you got. And if people don't like it, too bad. Really, too bad.
And going back to work with what you got.
Work
And
with
you
what you
have
got.
what you have. You got what you got now,
That's right.
which is a whole lot more than you had.
That's right.
So, okay. So I have so many questions. My brain is blowing up. Uh, it started off with a dream of making a movie. And now that looks very different. The real goal now is to have an episodic TV series, but you are in post-production. You have made a film, right? It's a short film. How long would you
So
say the goal is?
right now, I mean, it runs right now like 5.5 minutes. It,
Uh-huh.
and so I had to learn, I'm like, what are we doing? I'm like, oh, we're doing a proof of concept. This is a proof of concept. So by the time we're done, we'll have a little polished gem that's 5.5 minutes long, maybe 6 minutes with the credits that we can take to investors, that we can take to partners, potential partners, and say, and go to film festivals and showcase what we're doing. But we're also going to use it to build a fan base so that, again, going direct to the fans, just the way I've been doing with my business, just the way I've been doing with my fiction, and of course the podcast, like direct. We're going direct. And because what I'm interested in is interacting with the fans and having people in their 20s, teens and 20s and older resonate with Henrietta the Dragon Slayer about what she is and what she's doing, and a young woman learning how to be a leader and how she's kick ass, she's got a big sword and she's got her friends and she learns to how to have friends, and each of her friends are unique and have their own journeys and their own struggles and found family, and finding yourself in the world. Like, who do I want to be in the world? That's really what I'm interested in exploring in the TV show. And so I don't remember what your question is. Yeah.
You've answered it beautifully, actually. The how it morphed from one goal into what it's become now and where you're at in the process, which is so it's so different. I mean, here we go. In the beginning, the goal was you had this story that you wanted to turn into a film someday, right? So that has now become you've made a film. You did that. It's in post-production. That's a big, long process, right? So I do want to talk about that in a second, but it's no longer the end result. It's a stepping stone to what the new part of the dream is, which I love. Now it's a whole new thing. So my question is, two questions I think I have right now in my brain is post-production, what's that like? And number two, what was the biggest surprise about this process or making the adaptation of the story to become what it is at this moment?
Let me talk about the story first, then we'll talk about post-production.
Good
So
idea.
I'm a very linear storyteller for the most part, meaning I've written 3 novels that follow in sequence. It's a whole big adventure. It took like 10 years for me to edit this novel, Henrietta the Dragon Slayer, which was my third novel written, but my first novel published. Just to give some context for people. So the story is not an adaptation, it's a continuation. So if you read all 3 novels and then you saw our little short film and then you saw the TV show, it will all happening in sequence over time.
Oh,
Because adaptation as its own animal. I do not know how to do it. I do not want to do it. Someone gifted in that can do it, but not me. And well, I would.
Oh, how fascinating. Okay. Okay, you kind of just blew my mind. See, yet there's so many ways to do things in the world.
So many ways, so many ways, so many ways.
Wow.
And, this whole time I have been teaching fiction writers and I have been deepening my know-how about storytelling. And so when it came time to write the first script, what came to me was a continuing story, because those were the questions that were interesting to me. I wasn't
Mm-hmm.
interested in rehashing book one or two or three. I'm like, now what? You know, Henrietta and the Battle of the Horse Mesa. There's a big battle in book three. And then what? Like that's where I'm going.
Yeah. So this is new territory for you. You get to play. You get to step into, a new place, a new, like, oh, it's a brand new creation. That's so exciting.
Right. And in fact, a whole new land. The TV series is going to take place in a location that does not exist. It's mentioned, but it does not exist in the first three books. That's interesting to me as a storyteller. There's a lot of room to play. I have, of course, so many ideas. Yeah. So that's the story piece. To answer your post-production question, wow, post-production. Um, I mean, I just have to say I loved being on set. And by set, I mean we filmed in a park for two of the shoot days, and for the other two shoot days, one was in a garage where we did our puppet monster, and one was in the backyard, but we were filming the actress inside a tent. So but it was outside. We were all outside. She's in the tent, and that's it. And so I love being on set. I There's a lot of prep that goes to be on set. And luckily my co-producer helped with all the like keeping us on time where so I could be the big vision person. And then when it comes to post-production, what I've been discovering, it's like, oh my God, this is like editing a novel. The level of detail, we're getting down into the weeds. Like with fiction, you're getting down to the sentence level, paragraph, scene level. Does this scene go here? Moving scenes around, oh, what's the tone? Let me change the tone. Oh, maybe they don't say this, they say that, right? Like you're moving things around, you're making new decisions, you're like shaping something that's kind of rough. Well, same in post-production. We had this footage that first it was about putting it in order. So that was our first rough cut. We're up to rough cut number 5 by now. And then it was like starting to trim things to increase the pacing.
Mm-hmm.
And then some tweaks on that. Um, and now it's inserting our monster, that takes Henrietta's friend. And that was filmed separately. So now I have gone through the footage and I just have to hand it to the editor and like these few seconds go here. And I'm matching up what my puppet master maker, and he was like really the director of the puppet shoot. He made some decisions and now I'm like refining his decisions. And then the editor will put them in. And then we're going to probably work on pacing a few more times. And then we're going to start, and I'm not quite sure the right order, but then we start working with music. And I have some ideas there. My husband's a singer-songwriter too, like on the side. He studied that in school. And so I already have some recordings of him playing with like the melody for Henrietta, like Henrietta's
Mm-hmm.
song, so to speak, like what John Williams did for Star Wars. Every character had a song.
Themes,
And,
yeah.
yep. And then our sound person, our audio, they are like, when you're ready, I have a sound depository and we can put in some special sounds, So
Wow.
I've been thinking about that. And then we have someone who's going to do what's called After Effects. Actually, before that, I think we have to color it because we had to switch cameras. Long story, saga. Every shoot has it. We had tech issues. So we got to make sure the colors look right. And because we are doing what's called practical effects. Our monster is a puppet, and we actually have her wearing a necklace that had a little LED light in it. So those are practical effects. But then I want to add in a few special effects. Oh yeah, we also have some ADR, which is one of the actors went into a studio and recorded his lines. We have to lay them in, and I
Okay.
haven't even dealt with that. And so that has to match. We might need to get the actress come in and do that as well. So you can see there's all these layers, and we're
Wow.
still kind of at the first almost.
And I just want to say again, this is for 5 minutes,
Yes.
correct?
Yes.
That is so wild. That is so wild. Wowzers.
And we're doing it like that because, yes, we are treating this like a film and we're doing this with a team. Like, I don't know editing. I don't know After Effects. I have ideas about music. I have ideas about sound effects. I have ideas about the special effects I want it to go, but I don't know how to do any of it. So
Right.
that's where the team comes in. And they want to do it. I mean, people are getting a stipend. It's not a huge budget. I did raise money for it. So, but I'm still raising money for
Mhm.
post-production. And then I'll probably raise money for film festivals as
Okay,
well.
so if you're listening and you want to be a film investor, this is your opportunity. What has been the most joyful part of making the film so far?
I would really say there's something incredible of being on set and everybody like we got everybody doing things. We got someone handling food. We got someone handling costumes. We have the actors doing their thing.
There must be an energy to that,
There's
right?
such an energy. It's
This
like,
is happening,
yeah,
people.
yeah. It's controlled chaos. Of course, there's periods where we're all standing around waiting for things to happen. Um, and yeah, it's like controlled chaos, but that you've kind of rehearsed a little bit, that you've prepared for, I should say. You've done your best to prepare for. And good sets have done a lot of prep. I'm at the beginning here, so we did what we could do. There's always glitches, but then there'll be like we had someone who was able to go to the store and get some glue and like fun things like that. And there's something amazing about actually filming something, but also as the writer and someone who's deeply been living with Henrietta the Dragon Slayer for a very long time, to see my actress be her, oh my God. Oh, that is so incredible. That is so incredible. I just love it so
That
much.
must be amazing. Wow.
Yeah. And to see my actor there too and embodying the character and the monster and just everything, right? Like my imagination has come to life. And oh my God, that is incredible. This is incredible. I can't even speak. Oh, yeah.
What if your younger self saw you doing what you're doing right now, what do you think she'd say?
She would be like, yeah, like that. Seriously, my 10-year-old self was like, finally, yeah. Girl adventure, going after the dragon, yeah. She would be so happy. She's like, let me, I want to read it. She'll stay up all night reading all three books.
I'm so excited for you to be doing this. If somebody wants to come find out more about the project, if somebody wants to, be an investor, what are we talking here? How do they get in touch with you?
Absolutely. Well, thanks for asking. So people can actually they can donate for swag or they can be an investor. I have a what's called a fiscal sponsor, so they could choose which way they want to donate, either donate or do a charitable contribution. At this point, we're not yet at the investor stage. We will be at some point. So the best way to get to me is just to go to bethbarany.com. I believe I have a film tab in my menu. And if you just want to see what we're doing with the film, you can go to henriettathedragonslayer.com and you can see where we're at. We have an Instagram for it. You can see our some clips.
I will have links to those things for anybody who is here with us. And if you're driving, don't sweat it. I got you. Beth, thank you so much for being with me. And for you guys listening, if for you listening, if this conversation is sparking a little something for you, it doesn't have to be about filmmaking, just a little something. There's something back there probably. If you're still here with us, there's something, I guarantee you. You can give yourself the permission that you need to start or restart a project or try something completely new. Please tell me in the comments. I'd love to know what you're thinking and what's going on for you. And if you know somebody who has been waiting on a dream or waiting for the right moment, share this episode with them. Sometimes all we need is a little nudge to greenlight ourselves. And before you go, by the way, if you're craving a nice little gentle reset, joyful reset, how to get back in touch with your joy, I'd love for you to come join me in the play shop. It's a 1 hour playful reboot designed to help you get connected with yourself again through play. You can sign up and get on the wait list at latebloomerliving.com/play. And of course, don't forget to like, subscribe. Make sure you're getting these on the regular. We're here every week. Yeah, more conversations are coming your way. So stay curious, as Beth would say, stay playful, and bloom like you mean it.
Mm, wonderful. Thank you, Yvonne.
Thank you.